That's what today's show's about. I'm Janine Nodder, and this is Chatting with Janine. I was pulling out of the Merrimack post office last week, and I noticed the sign for a running camp for kids, and I know the lady who runs the camp. So Cindy, her name is, she's been running marathons in every state across the United States of America, including Alaska and Hawaii. And now her daughter is running marathons too. In fact, their whole family is insanely fit and talented. I just taped a show on the paranormal, and now it's time to meet some superhumans. Cindy and Stephanie McLaughlin, welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, I see your daughter running sometimes, well, sort of. I see this go by, and I'm like, what was that? Oh, Stephanie ran by. I don't know how you got to be so fast, but I remember years ago, there was a 5K in Bedford. You were in 3rd grade at the time, and you beat me. Yeah.
From her.
Truth.
Did she beat you too? You were there.
Not at the time.
Oh.
But she can beat me now, for sure.
So the first 10 years of this century, I was a group fitness instructor. Mm-hmm. And so I thought I was fit, but I learned that I was not running fit because we went out for a 2-mile run and I didn't make it to the end of the parking lot. Mm-hmm. So I was very angry and upset with myself. So I went to the library and I got a book on running. And this chart, well, I copied it. This was from the book. And this is how I taught myself how to run. So it's been a long, long time since I've done a show on running. But I learned how to run by running 2 minutes at a time, walking for 5 minutes, running for 2 minutes, walking for 5. And then every week I would increase a little bit more till I could run 30 minutes. And then I worked my way all the way up to be able to run a marathon. But Cindy, I think you were born running marathons. Am I right?
No, not really.
Okay.
I mean, I didn't start running marathons until my first one was in 2015. My first half marathon was in 2014. And once I did that, it was such a big accomplishment at the time. I just said, well, I wanted to try to go double the distance. And I signed up for my first one. And where
was your first one?
In Arizona.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Did you see the Grand Canyon while you were there?
No, I've seen that before, though, but not that particular time. But, yeah, I mean, it's something that anyone can do. It's just a matter of building up to it. It takes a lot of time, a lot of commitment. It's a lot of work, but you have to love it to really get into it.
How many have you done?
47 marathons,
Wow.
45 states, and then I'll finish this year in Jackson Hole.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And how many have you run? You're running your second?
My second is next weekend.
Awesome. So what was your time?
For my first one?
Yeah.
4:09.
Oh, okay. My best marathon was my second marathon. I only have gun time because it wasn't working, so I don't know what the net time was. Mm-hmm. So that's where you actually cross the starting point. But my best marathon was about 4:40. So I've done 12.
Yeah.
12 of them.
Yeah, it's incredible. Yeah. I mean, just to do one is incredible. So, yeah. So we have one next weekend in Oregon, the Eugene Marathon. Yeah, it's going to be awesome. I think the training's gone very well. I mean, for her, for me, I had a setback after my last marathon, which was in November. I mean, of course, I'm trying to do the states, and I'm trying to get a lot done. And
by setback, do you mean you had to go visit the physical terrorists?
Yes, I went to Elite Rehab on Daniel Webster Highway, and Michelle and Meryl are the best. They fixed us both up.
Yes, they are pain and torture. Yes, I went to PT.
Pain and torture.
Thank you, ladies.
Yeah, absolutely. They're the best.
I sincerely thank them.
After my last marathon, I had an issue and I couldn't resolve it myself. So after not being able to run for a month or fix it myself within...
it's frustrating, isn't it?
It was pretty frustrating. I gave myself until Christmas, like, if this doesn't get resolved, I'm going to call them. And I was in there the first week of January. And they fixed me up within 6 weeks. I was up and running again. I know I have a chart out there that kind of shows how little I was running. And to be a marathoner and not to be able to run is so upsetting.
Yes. And every runner knows what we're talking about. Oh, we're looking up on the screen. What are we looking at?
Yeah, so this is my chart of my running mileage from when I really couldn't run. You can see back in week 1, week 2, I was like 9-10 miles a week. Now for a marathoner, that's not good. But that's because I was injured and I could only run a half a mile at a time. So what I would do was I'd go out and run a half a mile, go back home, try to like stretch and roll out and fix it myself, so to speak. But it really just wasn't working. And that's when I started going to PT. And you can see through the progression of time, the blue bars, the first 6 weeks of PT, I gradually could increase my mileage as I went along. And that's just a testament to them, the work that they did, the work that I had to do kind of behind the scenes, also some exercises at home. But once I really got back up to 30-40 miles a week, they released me into the wild, so to speak, and let me go do my thing. And so you can see where the training has gone. I've hit a couple of 60-mile weeks, 50-mile weeks.
Wow. Now, see, when I was training for marathons, I had little kids, so I only ran 3 days a week.
Yeah.
I did 2 short runs that were 30 to 45 minutes, and then 1 long run on the weekend. Mm-hmm. And that's all I could do. But at the time, I was still a fitness instructor, and so I guess you call that cross training because I was teaching classes.
Definitely. I mean, you don't even have to do this much mileage. I mean, that might...
It's different for everybody.
It's different for everyone, and you kind of learn your limits as a runner.
How many days a week do you run, Stephanie?
5.
5 days a week?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
You should definitely take a rest day.
Yes.
I mean, that's my opinion.
But we have a mutual friend, Christine, who runs every single day, no matter the weather, no matter the time of the year, every single day
Yeah,
for
she's
years
awesome.
now she's done this.
Yes.
She needs to be on the show.
Yeah, yeah, she should be here too. Yeah, I mean, I think for people who do streaks, like I think I talked to her once, and she was saying that she'll run even a mile, like on a slow day, just run a mile just to keep the streak alive. That's really good.
I tried to do that, but then there was one winter where we had it was icy outside, and I tried. I think I just ended up being on the grass, with the ice on the grass, and I just went up and down until I got to a mile, and I called it done. But at least I got a mile.
Yeah, yeah, it counts. It all counts. But
Should
yeah,
we run through the photos since we had already went through one? And okay, this was the Goffstown Gallop. This was in the newspaper, and it's from my scrapbook. That's why it's doctored up. My friend Anna has a bow on her hair, and I'm holding an ice cream cone. So this was my best. What was it? I think it's 5 miles, the Goffstown Gallop.
Yeah.
And I pushed myself so hard. When I got home, there was blood on the back of my shirt.
Yeah.
But I had no marks on me. My husband checked, and there was no marks, and the whole back was just smeared. It was like very, very strange, but it was so hot that day, but I felt cold. It was very strange.
Yeah.
But anyway, I brought that in because Anna used to train with me. So this is from my scrapbook, and that's your dog, the one on the bottom.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the summit.
So my hair's kind of a mess, but when you're running, that's what we look like.
Yeah, it's all about the...
So this is what we look like. You probably look the same way when we're running in the winter.
Yep.
On the coldest days of the year.
Every
Get
single
out there and, get rid of the Eskimo. Let's go move on. This is, somebody was nice enough to clear the path. Again, with the winter running.
Yep.
This is another page from my scrapbook, and that's you and I, Cindy. We went to the beach to run one day.
I
and
remember that.
Up in the corner there with the lights shining because I finished it. That was my best half marathon, and that was in Nashua, the Gate City Half Marathon.
Yep. That's great.
So, and there's your sign.
Yes.
So we'll get back to talk more once we finish the pictures about your camp. Reach your peak running. Now, is this what you have left for marathons?
Yeah, these are the states that I have left to do this year. So next is Oregon in a week and a half. Then I will do the Dakotas back-to-back days, and then Montana in June and Wyoming in September. And then that will all be filled in. And it's been,
I hope you get to see my son when you're visiting the Dakotas.
Awesome. Yeah.
In that area.
Yeah. It's been almost a 10-year journey, but it's been worth it. And it's been hard, but it's been life-changing, really, to be able to do that, to have a goal and it's a really big goal, and it takes a lot of time, and it takes a lot of commitment, but and it's been a lot of fun because every time I've gone on a trip, I've taken my family with me, and it's been the best thing I've ever done besides having a family. Yeah, it's been absolutely the best thing I've ever done in my life.
That's awesome. And that's you and Stephanie. Is that Manchester?
No, it's Carmel.
That's Carmel, Indiana. That was her first marathon last year, last April 8th. Yeah, that was a good race.
4:09. Oh, and there's your husband. Okay, now we have to talk about him because this man does not train, but he can go out and run a marathon without training.
Yeah, he's pretty funny like that.
He's also was famous for a while because that's the man who got bit by the rabid fox.
Right.
It was a Friday. We called it Freaking Fox Friday. Remember that?
Yes, we did. Yes, so this was taken last year. We went on a trip to the Midwest, and I did 3 marathons in 5 days, which I never had done before, but I knew I could run slow if I had to, and that was the first marathon in Michigan.
So when you say slow, what does that mean for you? I mean, me, slow is
like that
pathetic.
particular day, I probably ran I think it was 4:41.
That's her slow marathon.
I mean,
my best time.
Yeah.
was
I mean,
4:40.
I was taking, I wasn't, I was trying, but I knew I had 2 more to do in a few days, so I was not trying to be too out of control. But it was very hot because it was July, so yeah, that was us after the race.
I think everyone's catching on when I said superhumans. Yes, there's that guy again.
Oh yeah. So yeah, this was in Illinois 2 days later.
2 days later.
Pat decided he goes, I'll run the marathon too that day. And I'm thinking, okay, sure. He hadn't trained, but he just does that.
And what was his time?
I think his time was like 5:19. I finished like 5:01, I think it was, or 5:03. I can't even remember at this point. But I think I was the first female finisher that day.
Wow.
because it was
so hot?
Well, and there wasn't a ton of people doing it, but it was super hot out. And it was really just about survival because I had run a marathon like 2 days prior, and I was still feeling a lot of pain from that. Like your quads are tight and your body doesn't feel good, but once you get going, you still feel that pain, but sometimes it's mind over matter.
Mm-hmm.
To be
50% of a marathon is mind.
Yeah,
Yep.
definitely. You have to be mentally strong to finish it because you're doing things that normally a person shouldn't be able to do. A person shouldn't be able to run more than 20 miles at a time. You use up all your glycogen stores, and that's why you have to eat on the run and fuel and hydrate.
Oh, yeah, I meant to bring some packets of little carbs, the carb gel and the jelly beans, or the sports beans. I like those.
Definitely.
I think you like this guy. I see you with him a lot.
Yeah, so this was the last marathon of that week. And that was in Wisconsin, and thankfully it poured out the last few miles, and it was very
you're wet.
It was very refreshing, and I really had to dig deep in that one to just finish it, but it rained, and that really helped a lot, and it was very muddy.
And you're both smiling after all that.
You have to smile. I mean, even if you feel awful, you smile because it's just a joy to finish it, really. Even if you feel hurt, it's fine.
Wow.
It's why we do it,
So what was your most memorable marathon? I know what your most memorable marathon was because you have the one.
Yeah, next week.
Yeah.
Let's get this.
And
for me, I mean, I love all of them for so many different reasons. Probably one of my favorite ones, I mean, the shirt I'm wearing at New Jersey Marathon is my fastest one, but my best one, I feel, was the first time I went under 4 hours, and that was Niagara Falls, because Pat and I both ran that race, and we started in Buffalo, New York.
And you needed a passport for
I needed
that
a passport.
one. Yep.
I actually ran the marathon with my passport in my little pouch. We ran from Buffalo to the brink of the falls, and Pat was ahead of me. And of course, I saw him on the course, and I waved to him once when we crossed paths. And then I caught up to him at mile 24, and I said, "Come on, let's go." And he's like, "No, it's all right. You go." And I felt really good, and the training leading up to that was very good. And I felt so good. I just was like, "All right, let's go." And I was passing people like crazy, and I'm like, "I'm gonna do sub 4 today." And I ran 3:59:57. And to cross that finish line and do sub 4 was, I always wanted to do that. And that to me, like, that was one of the greatest moments I feel so far.
I know your family is very proud of you. I am too, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
In case I never told you. But, you know, when I'm out running, I'm in my own world, and my best friend can look at me and I won't know who it is.
Yeah.
I'm just so not in the world. I'm just doing my own thing. But I noticed that you wave back. I wave to you when I see you running, and you wave back. So
I usually pay attention. Yeah.
that's good. I'm impressed that you're well aware of your surroundings. And what do you think about when you're running?
I don't even know. I just play music and I listen to it. I don't know. I don't think about anything specific. I just run.
Do you have memorable things happen along your runs? What do you notice? I'm like, I notice, because I run so slow. I notice everything, flowers, new flowers in bloom.
Yeah, I've gotten almost hit by a couple cars. But
Oh, yeah, we have to.
Yeah,
where was
it's
that?
been dangerous.
all over Continental, DW, everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of good places to run, like where you have like a nice paved rail trail, or, you know, you have to go to a different town. So yeah, a lot of times we take our lives into our own hands, but always run on facing traffic. That's important, so you can see what's coming. And if you have to jump over into the side, usually I try to move over, and I always wave to like the nice people that move over when they can. So
Today I had to dodge street sweepers.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes, I saw the street sweepers out there. I want to hear about your camp, the Camp for Kids.
yeah, oh, thanks. The camp, we have 2 sessions coming up this summer. It's June 24th to 27th, and then also July 15th through July 18th.
This is fourth year? Fourth year?
Yeah, 4th year doing it in Merrimack. We're at the high school. This year we're offering a 4-day.
We can't, I don't know, we can't sell, so
Okay.
for more information.
Okay, yes.
But how old are the kids?
10 to 15.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Do you help out with the camp?
Sometimes I'll go if I'm not working. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember the first year you
Yeah,
had
she
the
showed
camp.
up.
You had wow, it was just those kids. You went above and beyond anything that anybody's ever done.
Yeah.
And you had like king cone tokens to give them, and they raced you. And I'm like, I don't know how, but you're superhuman. So no wonder you could just keep doing that, racing.
Yeah,
the
I
kids.
mean, the camp is fun, and it's meant to be fun, but it's also to teach them about fitness and running. And you know, I learn a lot about like what are their goals. A lot of them are in middle school or just about to go to high school or in high school, and you know, try to prep them for their upcoming season and give them tips. I mean, I'm a high school coach myself, so you know, and obviously a runner. So I run all distances. So you know, it's great to be able to give back and help the youth of, you know, our community learn more about running, and we have a great time doing it too. So yeah, and Pat is involved, my husband, and you know, we're usually pretty sore like after camp, you know, because we're running with the kids, so it's really fun. But yeah, we enjoy doing it.
Okay, Monday morning mooning. I'm just looking at my notes. This was a run that you and I did. We were up at the outlet mall.
Yeah.
and I think it was the Chico store. All the mannequins were naked and facing, so they were mooning us. Yeah. And I think I have a picture of it. It's in my scrapbook.
Yeah,
that we
you
got
did
at the
stop
Monday,
to take a
Monday
picture.
morning.
Yeah.
I already asked about the memorable runs. Have either of you fallen down in a race or running?
Yes.
I haven't.
Yes.
You have?
In Alaska. In Alaska on a trail.
You brought me this back from
Yeah.
Alaska. Too cold to, yeah.
Yeah, it was, I probably passed the half marathon mark. There wasn't a mat or anything, but I was in a trail. There were 9 miles of trails, and I tripped. You know, start to get tired. I tripped over a rock and I went flying, and now I can't remember which elbow.
You didn't land in any bear
Oh, I think it was this elbow.
droppings.
No,
did you?
I
Oh,
did
okay,
see
that's good.
bear droppings along the way, but I smashed up this elbow pretty bad, and I was flying through the air like Superwoman, and then I fell on it.
Did it go in slow motion?
Yes,
Yeah.
I was totally in slow motion, fell, and then I looked at my arm and I thought, and I wiggled it. I'm like, okay, it's not broken, it hurts, and I said, well, I came all the way to Alaska. I'm finishing this thing. And I just got up and I kept
You were
running.
more than halfway done. I fell on the second mile of Manchester one year,
Oh,
and I
yeah.
had fake nails then.
Oh,
And it was
no.
cold. I had gloves on. Every time I bent my finger, it was throbbing. I thought I broke something.
Yeah.
And I skinned my knee, but I didn't look at anything until I crossed the finish line.
Good.
And I pulled my pants up, and it was ugly. And the ambulance there was looking at it. They said, "You just ran 5 hours with all this bacteria getting into your open wound." I went, "Yeah, well, I'm more worried about my hand." And I took my glove off, and it looked normal. It looked fine, but
Yeah.
because they were those fake nails, it pulled away. So I ended up losing it.
Oh,
It was.
It's bad.
We have 6 minutes left. Didn't I tell you this would go by really fast?
Oh, yeah.
What is this? This bop
Muscle
people
roller.
get it out of your way.
Nice roller.
What do you do with this?
Muscle roller.
Yeah.
muscle
You
roller.
want to roll it? Roll
Want
out
me to
your...
do it? You go like
Yeah,
this.
go ahead.
Use it on your muscles, so it'll like get knots out.
Yeah, it's very important to use a roller as often as you can. I mean, and if you're really doing a lot of foam rolling and rolling, sometimes it can really hurt, but that's okay. You have to get out the knots in your muscles. That's why sometimes you have a lot of pain when you're running. If you have a knot, your muscle isn't going to work properly. So it's important to have something like this or a foam roller to get those knots out so you can run with pain-free and with having no issues. So that comes in handy for sure.
So I have a library on section
Yeah.
on running. I bought this book by Jeff Galloway. When I had a radio show, I had him on the show. That was awesome because he was like, when I was first learning how to run, I was 35 years old, and my cousin told me about Jeff Galloway. And I like this book because there's the training charts in here, and every person is different.
Yeah,
so like you run like 500 miles a week and for a marathon, and I'm lucky if I can do 30 miles a week, and which I haven't been able to do that the last few years, but I'll get back. And I used to only run 3 days a week,
Yeah.
but then you are the one that inspired me. I didn't know that I could run every day. So then I was starting running it, and then I get injuries, and now I just run when I can, and I do the best I can.
You do the best you can.
So this is a complete runner's guide. It's just stretching. It's a nice little handy book. Oh, here's an interesting one. I'll just let the viewers read that themselves. So somebody sent me a meme that only a runner would get.
Yes.
So it's a person running, and there's a building, comes to the corner, and around the corner, the guy just started running, like maybe a mile or so ago, and right around the corner, there's a woman standing there, and it says, "Poop." You get it, right?
Yeah.
It's a runner's joke. All right, I saw a bumper sticker that said, "Toenails are overrated."
Yeah.
You get it, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
we lose our toenails. This is a book on running injuries. So when I know people that run and they have an injury, then I look it up and tell them what it has.
Yeah.
Here's one on running injury free. Here's one on running till you're 100, which I would like to give to you.
Okay.
And this one is Boston Marathon, how to qualify, and that one is for you.
Yeah. If she wants to.
So we have 4 minutes left. Wow. So getting back to when I first started running, and I said there's a difference between being fit and being running fit. So even though I was fit from teaching aerobics and aqua aerobics and weights and yoga and all that, did not have the lung capacity to run. So it took time for me to build up. Of course, you were born that way because your family is superhuman, all of you. But the one thing, I wrote a story about this too, and it's published somewhere, that when I started on a treadmill, but when I went outside, my eyes were burning, and it was a whole different experience. Do you run on treadmills? I mean, I hate them. I hate them.
I don't like them, and I had to do it this winter. As I was going to PT, I started running on the treadmill because it was flat, and I have one in the basement, and I actually started to like it, and it was good. But then once I was released from PT and the weather got a little bit better, I started to go back outside, and then I thought, oh, well, I'll go back to the treadmill, and I tried to do it, and I started to hate it again. But yeah, I mean, you either love it or hate it, I feel. You know, it kind of makes you feel, you know, you're focused, For me, if I'm on it for a while and then I try to get off, I feel a little dizzy. But I love being outside. I love breathing the
too.
fresh air.
And well, we saw the Eskimo picture earlier, so
Yeah.
even in the winter, and
Yes.
it just makes me feel better. Winter, I don't get the winter depression.
No.
If I get outside and I run.
Yeah.
You know. Do you run on the treadmill? I hate treadmill.
If I have to.
Yeah.
I have to.
Like if
Yeah.
it's snowy and there's no
Yeah.
shoulder, I'll run on the treadmill. But if I can run outside, I'll run outside.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. You just kind of fight through the weather.
And then the last 2 minutes of the show, I can't believe I didn't mention this until now. COVID. During COVID, the whole world was going crazy, and there were no races. And it was your family that organized a relay to raise awareness and collect food for the food pantry, St. James. So what it was laps around a neighborhood, and for every lap you write it down, and there was like a guessing game or whatever, how many
laps we could do.
Yeah, all of us together, and
Yep.
I think did the dog have a column as well?
I think the dog had a column, yeah.
So
Yeah.
that just came up on Facebook, and I had taped when I made my final lap, so I ended up with over 31 miles that day.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Because it was 12 hours to feed 12 families, which
Yeah.
I think we exceeded. And your husband was talking about that, Pat, the one that was bit by the fox. And you can hear me with my voice all hoarse from after running all those hours. I said we have to stay 6 feet apart.
Yeah.
So, but thank you for that. That was wonderful. A lot of people don't know that you did that, and we did it through 3 times.
Oh yeah, 3 times. Yes, we need to do it again for sure. You know, once all the marathons are done, and you know, we're gonna do it again. Maybe in the fall before like Christmas or so.
And it depends on the time of the year. You know, sometimes it's dark. You don't have 12 hours of daylight. So I remember that first one. I looked out the window. I said, "Yep, they started. They're running."
Yeah, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. It
And-
was a long day.
So I ended up going out every 2 hours and running 5 miles, and I'd go in the house and have a snack and sit down, and then I'd go back out and
awesome.
run 5 miles, and yeah. Did you ran too, right?
Yeah, you did some.
I think I did a little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you know what I think would be awesome is you guys should have your own show on Merrimack TV.
It would be fun.
Yeah.
Well, we're out of time, but thank you, ladies, for
thank
being
you.
here.
Thank you
Keep
so
running.
much.
Cindy, I can't wait for you to finish all 50 states. That is
I
an
know.
awesome achievement.
Yeah.
Thank
Me
you for
too.
running. Get off the couch. You can do it.
Yeah, you got this.